Imagine spending an extra £100,000 on a family home just to get into a specific school catchment zone, only to realize on allocation day that the local council measures distance from your back gate, not your front door.
Oh, it happens all the time.
Right. And you miss the cut by like 12 feet. Your child is rejected, and you are left paying this massive premium for a house that suddenly serves no practical purpose whatsoever.
Yeah, it's a total nightmare.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are looking at the absolute minefield of choosing a property in the UK based on local schools.
The stakes are incredibly high here. I mean, the financial commitment alone is enormous.
Massive.
Exactly. And the decisions parents make are frequently based on data that is, well, fundamentally misunderstood. Or it's entirely out of date by the time they actually hand over the deposit.
Which brings us to our mission for this deep dive.
Yeah.
We're pulling from a pair of incredibly comprehensive guides from Before You Move.
Yeah, they've done a really brilliant job breaking this down.
They really have. Their research exposes the hidden realities of, well, area running costs and, crucially, how to judge schools without falling into the trap of relying on a single misleading rating.
Right.
So we want to give you, the listener, a foolproof, practical evaluation loop, so you don't get caught out by these hidden traps.
Because to do that effectively, we have to look far beyond the shiny headline numbers that estate agents push.
Oh, it was the brochures.
Right, the glossy brochures. When you begin to understand how the local authority systems actually work, from the, frankly, brutal mechanics of admissions to the daily, exhausting grind of the school run, you start to view property listings in a completely different light.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's tackle the elephant in the room first. We all obsess over seeing the word outstanding slapped on a property listing, don't we?
Oh, absolutely. It's the holy grail for buyers.
Yeah, and estate agents use it as a golden ticket to bump up the asking price. But why might relying on that single word be steering a buyer entirely wrong?
Well, it creates this dangerous illusion of certainty. An inspection outcome is nothing more than a historical snapshot.
A moment in time.
Exactly. It describes the quality and the safeguarding of that school at the exact moment the inspectors walk the halls.
Which could be ages ago.
Literally years. By the time you actually buy your home, complete the chain, move in, and your toddler actually reaches school age, that rating could be 3 to 5 years out of date.
Wow.
Yeah, and in that time, the dynamic head teacher might have left. The funding model might have shifted entirely.
Whole departments could have turned over.
Precisely. Entire departments.
It's like, you would never book a table for your family based on a 5-star food hygiene sticker printed 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you heard the head chef had left.
That is a great way to put it.
You'd check recent reviews. You'd look at the current menu.
I'd take that analogy a step further, actually. You wouldn't just check consumer reviews. You would want to know what the health inspector actually found behind the kitchen door.
Right, the actual details.
Yeah. And educational authorities have, thankfully, finally recognized this flaw. So as of 2024, Ofsted in England has moved away from slapping one single reductive overall grade on a school.
Oh, really? So the one-word thing is gone?
Yes. They've shifted to report cards across various specific evaluation areas.
So how does that change the process for a parent looking at a property listing today? Because you can't just filter a property portal by a magic word anymore.
No, you can't. It forces you to read the primary materials. You must pull up the specific report card.
Okay.
You're searching for detailed notes on safeguarding, identifying the true top strengths, and importantly, paying incredibly close attention to the required actions.
Required actions, like things they've been told they have to fix.
Exactly. Those are the specific areas the school has been officially mandated to improve. And this isn't just an English thing. This applies across the whole of the UK.
Oh, the other nations do this too.
Yeah, so in Wales, Eston doesn't use overall summative grades at all anymore. They focus their inspections on thematic questions like well-being and attitudes to learning.
Oh, that's interesting.
And Education Scotland uses a highly specific 6-point scale. It evaluates individual quality indicators like leadership of change or family learning, rather than a single overarching label.
So a parent in Cardiff or Edinburgh has to read the nuances and parse the actual text, just like a parent in London. It's not just about academic results on a billboard, it's about what is genuinely happening in the corridors.
Spot on. A single word rating compresses all of those incredibly complex judgments. It hides the nuance.
Yeah.
And finding a school that isn't just resting on its laurels requires looking at the actual performance data. But Even there, you can easily be misled.
Well, yeah, the Before You Move guides warn that staring at the wrong metrics can lead to incredibly expensive property mistakes. They focus heavily on two specific measures used by the Department for Education in England: Attainment 8 and Progress 8.
Right, the big two.
Walk me through the mechanics of those, because they sound similar, but I assume they measure completely different realities.
Yes, they really do. So, Attainment 8 is essentially the raw score.
Oh,
It calculates the average points a student achieves across 8 approved GCSE level qualifications. It tells you the final destination, basically how high the grades were when they opened the envelope.
right. Just the raw result.
Exactly. Progress 8, however, is a value-added measure.
Value added.
Yeah, it tracks the progress students make from the end of primary school right up to those GCSEs across those same 8 subjects. It measures academic growth, not just the final grade.
Oh, wow. The sources actually highlight a fascinating comparison between two academies to illustrate this.
Ah, yes, School N and School M.
Right, so School N has a fantastic Attainment 8 score of 51.5,
Yeah,
but a Progress 8 score of minus -0.05.
yeah.
Meanwhile, School M has a lower Attainment 8, like 49.0, but a highly positive Progress 8 of plus +0.30.
Yes, which is a massive difference.
Here's where it gets really interesting to me. It feels like School N is an exclusive gym.
Okay, I like this.
They only accept people who are already, fitness models. So everyone walking out looks amazing, but the trainers didn't actually have to do much work.
It is a gym, yes. But let's take that further. It's a gym where they actively kick out members who don't maintain their six-pack, so their overall averages stay high.
Oh, wow. That's ruthless.
It is. But that is the real danger of raw attainment scores. A school with high attainment but negative progress is taking in students who are already high achievers and just coasting.
So they aren't really teaching them anything new.
Not effectively, no. The minus score in Progress 8 suggests the average student at School N actually went backwards compared to peers nationally with similar starting points.
Well, School M is the gym that takes in regular people of all fitness levels, and the trainers actually put in the work.
Exactly.
The absolute peak performance might be slightly lower, but the value added to the individual is massive.
That is the crucial distinction right there. If you value academic growth and you want a school that will actively push your child forward regardless of their starting point, School M is the far superior choice.
Despite having a lower raw score on a property listing site.
Right. But, and this is important, you must not look at just 1 year of this data. The sources are adamant that you have to extract a 3-year performance trend.
Okay, but where does a parent actually go to find a 3-year trend? Because estate agents certainly do not put that on the glossy brochure.
Definitely not. You have to bypass the marketing entirely. You go straight to the government's Compare School Performance service online.
Okay, so it's public.
Yes. You search the specific school, navigate to the secondary education tab, and you will find charts plotting Progress 8 over time.
Why 3 years specifically?
Because 1 year could simply be an anomaly. A particularly difficult cohort of kids or a sudden disruption in the science department's staffing. A 3-year trend reveals the actual persistent culture and capability of that school.
That makes total sense. But finding that perfect value-adding school is really only half the battle, isn't it?
Sadly, yes.
The real nightmare seems to be the local authorities' measuring tape. The concept of a catchment area is treated like gospel in the property market.
It is the most dangerous illusion buyers face.
Illusion.
Honestly, yes. People genuinely believe if they live inside the shaded area on an estate agent's map, admission is legally guaranteed.
But it's not.
It is not. Living in a catchment area merely confers a higher priority when the school is inevitably oversubscribed.
The mechanics of that priority seem incredibly ruthless from what I read. I constantly see the acronym PAN thrown around on Council of Admissions' website.
Yes, PAN.
Is that just a bureaucratic way of saying how many desks they can physically cram into a room?
Pretty much. It stands for Published Admission Number. It is the absolute legal capacity of children a school can admit to a specific year group. So let's say a community primary school has a PAN of 60. Before anyone else gets a look in, the local authority legally must allocate places to looked after children.
Meaning children currently in the care system.
Right, or those who were previously in care. They also prioritize children with specific education, health, and care plans. After that, priority usually goes to siblings of current students.
Wow. leaving a frighteningly small number of spots for everyone else who happens to live in the so-called catchment zone.
Exactly. And those remaining spots are almost always allocated purely on distance.
Okay, distance. Simple enough,
I
right?
think.
Uh,
But how a council measures that distance varies wildly, and it can entirely change which houses get in.
yeah, so.
Well, some councils use straight-line GIS geographic information systems. They literally draw a digital line from a fixed point at the school straight through houses, parks, rivers.
Just a crowfly's line.
Exactly, straight to a fixed point at your property.
But other councils measure by a designated walking route, don't they? The difference between a straight line and having to walk around a massive housing estate could easily exclude entire streets.
It does, all the time.
What happens if two houses are exactly the same distance away down to the decimal point, say two flats in the same building?
Oh, that brings us to tie-break rules. Every council is legally obliged to publish these in their admissions policy.
Okay.
If two properties are equidistant, the council has to decide who gets the spot. Sometimes it's a random allocation, essentially a lottery drawn by an independent body.
A lottery for your kid's education.
Yep. Sometimes the council physically measures to the front door of the individual flat rather than the main building entrance. You have to read the fine print of the policy before you make an offer on a home.
The Before You Move guides give a remarkably tense example of this from a town in Hertfordshire.
Ah, I know the one.
So we have a community primary school with a capacity of 60 kids. Last year, the final offer, like the absolute cutoff point for distance, was 0.42 miles away from this school.
Yes. So imagine two houses come on the market. House A is 0.37 miles away.
Okay.
House B is 0.44 miles away. House A gets the offer because they fall inside that 0.42 mile cutoff. House B is refused and placed on the waiting list.
Okay, so what does this all mean for House B? Let us talk about those waiting lists, because the sources paint a fairly brutal picture of what happens if you miss that cutoff.
He's brutal.
If a family declines a spot, or maybe they move away in August, does House B just seamlessly move up to the front of the line?
No. Waiting lists in the UK re-rank.
Re-rank.
This is a vital mechanic to understand. The list is continually ordered by the school's oversubscription criteria, not by who applied first.
So it's not a queue.
Not at all. If you are second on the waiting list in July, you might be fifth by August.
How is that practically possible? If you're just waiting patiently, how do you move backwards?
Well, if a new family moves into the area over the summer and they live 0.40 miles away, they are closer to the school than House B.
Oh, I see.
Or perhaps they move in further away, but they have a sibling already attending the school. They drop straight onto the waiting list above House B. You don't just wait your turn, you can actively lose ground.
That completely destroys the idea of relying on historical data. An estate agent might honestly say a house has historically been in the catchment, but local demand changes every single year.
Exactly. Last year's cutoff distance is purely descriptive of the past. It is a historical record, not a guarantee for the future.
Right.
If a new block of flats gets built nearby, or if there's a sudden baby boom in the immediate streets, the cutoff distance will shrink.
So securing the spot is really just a theoretical victory. You pop the champagne because you beat the GIS straight line measurement.
Right.
But the practical victory is surviving the next 7 years of getting your kid to the school gates without losing your mind or your job.
Absolutely. The logistics are exhausting.
The guides point out a bizarre discrepancy here between the distance used to get you into the school and the distance used to get you a bus pass.
Yes. Admissions distance and transport eligibility distance are governed by completely different sets of rules.
Wait, so the distance they use to let you in can be totally different from the distance they use to give you a bus pass?
Exactly. In England, the statutory walking distance for free transport is generally 2 miles for children under 8 and 3 miles for children aged 8 to 16.
But they do not use that straight-line GIS to measure transport eligibility, do they?
No, they do not. For transport, local authorities measure by the shortest available walking route.
Okay, that sounds reasonable.
You'd think so, but what a council defines as an available walking route can be a shock to parents. It simply means a route a child, accompanied as necessary, can walk with reasonable safety.
Reasonable safety.
Yeah, it does not mean a pleasant paved stroll. It might involve unlit public footpaths, navigating narrow pavements alongside dual carriageways, or crossing busy roads without a pedestrian crossing.
So you could be 1.5 miles away by a straight line, meaning you easily win admission to the school. But the actual walking route, dodging a motorway, makes it, say, 2.8 miles.
Precisely.
So you don't hit the 3-mile statutory threshold for your 12-year-old, meaning you do not get free transport. And you are stuck facilitating that massive commute twice a day.
Parents frequently appeal these decisions, arguing a route is unsafe. But councils are under immense financial pressure and often stand firm unless the route is provably hazardous under strict criteria.
Wow.
And that commute dictates your family's quality of life. Let's return to our two secondary schools. School M, with the great Progress 8 score, might require a 26-minute public bus ride door-to-door, or a 32-minute walk. School N, with the lower Progress, might only be a 14-minute bus ride.
So you have to weigh the educational value add against the daily friction.
Yeah.
A dark 32-minute wet walk home in November deeply impacts a child's ability to participate in after-school clubs.
It impacts their energy levels, it impacts punctuality. A shorter, more reliable commute reduces daily friction. You might actually choose the slightly lower Progress 8 school if the logistical benefit to your family's daily routine is massive.
It also heavily impacts the parents' working hours, which brings us to the hidden capacity issue. Wraparound care. Breakfast clubs and after-school clubs.
Yes. Finding a home near an excellent school is practically useless for full-time working parents if they cannot secure childcare coverage.
Right.
Parents often look at a school's website, see a breakfast club advertised, and assume the problem is solved.
But those clubs have strict legal capacities too, don't they? They are bound by ratios of staff to children.
Precisely. Schools face severe staffing shortages and funding constraints for these programs. They can't just infinitely expand the breakfast club because demand is high.
So the club exists.
A club might exist on paper, yes, but have an 18-month waiting list.
And if you do not get a spot in the school's club, you are suddenly relying on private childminders, which completely alters the financial calculus of the house purchase.
Completely. You must contact the school directly, long before you put an offer on a house, to ask about the actual availability of wraparound care for the specific term your child starts.
You can't just trust the website.
No, you have to ask about the hours and the exact costs.
This entire process really is an evaluation loop. You cannot look at any of these factors in isolation.
Oh, they're all connected.
You define your constraints first, your working hours, your absolute budget. You map the actual admissions mechanics for your target area, checking whether they use GIS or walking routes and looking up their specific tie-break rules.
Exactly.
You triangulate the school's actual quality by reading the detailed report cards and pulling the 3-year Progress 8 trends from the government portal. And finally, you rigorously test the physical travel and the wraparound care reality.
I would leave you with one final sobering thought to mull over, actually.
Okay, what's that?
The sources make it abundantly clear that oversubscription criteria, catchment boundaries, and local demographic demand constantly shift. Local authorities can and do redraw the maps to balance school populations.
Oh, right. So if you are buying a so-called forever home when your child is only a toddler, you are placing a massive financial bet on a local authority system that might completely restructure itself by the time they are 4.
Exactly. How do you future-proof an asset against a local council's pen stroke? It forces you to rethink your entire property strategy.
So what's the alternative?
Perhaps the smartest investment is not the house perfectly positioned for one specific, highly sought-after school. Perhaps the smartest investment is the house situated in a geographic sweet spot that offers multiple viable Plan B schools.
Hedging your bets.
Precisely. Betting everything you have on a single, fragile boundary line is a risk that might not pay off.
You are standing in the middle of a minefield, but the map just changed entirely. Makes you realize why doing the deep dive on the actual data is the only way to survive it.